Barrett recovers from the attack he just received from Iron. He internally acknowledges that there is a big discrepancy between their magic power favoring the older student. He tries to assess the current situation, looking over to Mash, who is still in shock that his cream puff was not from his hand. From the blank look on his face, Barrett doesn't think that he will be of any help, so he begins to rack his brain to come up with a strategy to get the girl out of this situation. Safely, Iron helps him out by proposing a little game after commenting on what a letdown the redhead is as an opponent. That double-line magic user tells them that he's willing to give them one chance if Barrett and Mash can endure 5 hits from his magic. He will leave the dismal alone. Iron even decides to follow the school rules and bet 1 silver coin. The girl expresses her worry about him taking such a bad deal, but Barrett interrupts her and immediately accepts the terms without hesitation. The girl continues to protest, but the redhead assures her that he will be fine since it's only 5 hits. Iron corrects him, stating that Mash also has to take 5 hits. Barrett disputes this condition as the magical student has nothing to do with their altercation. Their senior warns him that he doesn't get to decide. The redhead agrees, and to Mash a shock, Barrett decides to take his hits. To even Iron lets out a whistle impressed by his guts and wonders if he can take 10 hits. Barrett feels like he's responsible for antagonizing the fight, so he must see it through. Solo Mash respects his resolve for now and watches on as Barrett spreads himself ready for the first hit. Iron casts the first strike in a gremlin manner, which knocks Barrett back, causing organic red paint to spill out of his mouth from the power behind that hit. He knows he is in trouble. He falls to his knees for a moment, but quickly gets back up to take the next blow. As Iron laughs, the girl watches in horror as he hits him with the rest of the prescribed blows. After the 9th, Iron is a little surprised that he's still standing even though he's a little bloodied. The redhead smirks as he thinks about the tears the girl shed while telling them how Iron was harassing her. He is determined not to let those tears go to waste. As a reward for enduring 9 hits, Iron decides that the last one will have significantly more power than the rest. Barrett takes it head-on and is set flying back as he crashes to the ground. The senior is happy with his handiwork as the redhead lies there unmoving. He begins to mock, but suddenly stops when Barrett gets back up. As he confidently states that he's still standing after 10 hits, he still fumbles over to Iron, hoping that he will keep his promise, but he collapses. Before getting to him, Iron continues mocking him for thinking he could still stand after taking clean hits from his magic. Barrett pleads to Mash to take the girl in rhyme while he figures a way to resolve this with Iron, the ratty singer. Hits the redhead with another strike, clearly showing that he has no honor. The redhead pleads again for Mash to save the girl, but her voice interrupts him this time as she calls him an idiot, which takes him by surprise. She comments that she knows that he's under her charm spell, but his behavior reeks of desperation. Iron feels that's a bit harsh, as he jokingly tells her not to say that as she makes her way over to him, revealing that they are working together. Barrett genuinely looks heartbroken as they mock him for his delusion of thinking he's a main character, ironically. He is one of them. He begins to get a little frustrated when they are relentless with the ridicule. Iron laughs with his mouth wide open, so Mash shuts it with a cream puff. The magical student feels like the duo has gone far enough. He finally steps forward, stating that it's his turn to take the 10 hit. Challenged, he points at Iron before pointing down, while describing him as a scumbag, provoking his senior to come in him. Iron just stares at him in shock as cream drips down his chin. All the while, Lance Lemon and Finn relax a little after defeating a monster. Lance is a little worried about Mash, but the other two are confident that he'll be fine. The top student in their class explains that there are different types of magic users. For example, wide mages excel at scholarship and support magic, while red mages excel at combat. Mash has been mostly facing the former so far. However, any red mage past their first year is a tough opponent with that alone. But to add the double-liner's natural enhancements, there will be some that are equal to or even stronger than Mesh Iron could be. One of those back to the fight, and the senior is amused by Mash's statement as he walks over and grabs Barrett. He comments on how he dislikes people like the two of them. He sees them as weak hypocrites that act tough and has the itch to crush these kinds of people so that they can snap out of their delusion. He prepares to slam Barrett to the ground for making his clothes dirty. Mash dashes and launches a punch, but Iron sees the attack coming in counters. Mash barely dodges it, even draws a little residue from his cheek. Their senior laughs at the fact that Mash thinks he can win against someone who gained 2 gold coins during his first year. He brags that his base power is significantly stronger than theirs and hits Mash with multiple attacks. But the tables start to turn when Mash blocks one of his assaults and crumbles the rock. The magical student begins to open and close his hands as he activates Triceps Magic Iron, finds this humorous since he has never heard of such magic because its straight cap Mash tenses his fist while he dodges iron. Attacks, but as he gets closer to his target, the magical student punches his way through the rocks and lands a punch right on Iron's face. The girl can't believe what she's seeing. Iron's face begins to leak as he comments that this shouldn't be happening as he earned 2 coins as a first year, and his magic is top tier among the second years after his words of affirmation. He launches an assault, but Mashle's hand is more tense than that famous Arthur Meme as he casually walks toward it. He smashes through the spell and lands a shocking to punch on Iron. A pain from the blow is written all over his face as he struggles to breathe. He falls to his knees and profusely vomits with this second hit. He knows he can't win this fight, which shocks him. Mash towers over him as it is clear that he can't take another hit. The magical student walks to the base of a tree and takes a seat like a boss, which confuses Iron. Mash alerts Iron that he's going to endure 10 hits soon. He thinks he's so much better than Barrett. Iron has a look of complete despair on his face as Mash informs him that he has 8 more to go. After giving him a moment to recover a little, the magicless student steps up to him again and asks if he's ready for his 3rd hit. The despair on his face only gets worse, which I didn't think was possible. The senior begins to panic as he will be dead if it. He takes any more. The guy fanatically thinks of a way out of this situation. The sound of a monster rushing towards them can be heard. Iron is surprised and ecstatic to see a monster with a star-shaped stone on its forehead. It is worth more than 1 silver coin. He plans to use it as an opportunity to escape as Mash fights it, but that plan is quickly shattered when Mash throws it away like a bad smell to everyone's shock. He apologizes, telling it that he's busy. At the moment the star on the forehead lands near him, to be retrieved later. Iron can't believe his eyes. The magicalist student tells his senior that he kind of feels bad for him, so he will stop his attacks. Iron doesn't say a word as he holds his head in defeat. Mash then turns to the girl. She starts to panic as she never imagined Iron would lose. So he turns to her damsel in distress act, stating that he forced her to do everything. Mash rushes over to her and hugs her from the back, assuring her that everything is going to be okay. She has a smug look on her face, thinking that she is Mash caught by her charm. She realizes that it's not the case when the magical student changes his grip around her. He then proceeds to suplex her textbook, style knocking her out instantly. Mash, really living that equality life, Barrett can't believe what he just witnessed and concludes that Mash has some screws loose. After the test, everyone regroups, and Lemon is very worried seeing Mash a little beat up. He assures her that it's nothing. Lance concludes that he fought against Iron Finn, is impressed that he managed to defeat an upper-class man. Barrett watches on his Mash's friends give him hype. The magical student realizes that the red hair is a little down based on what the girl did to him, so he's happy when Lemon rushes over to him to show concern for his injuries too. Barrett falls for her and begins to act strange. The redhead then turns to Mash and officially thanks him for the help, but Mash comments that that is completely out of character for him. This annoys Barrett, who threatens to end Mash, as it took a lot for him to say those words. Lance interrupts their little fight to inform Mash that he was targeted. He has heard rumors that Dorm Lang is hunting for coins, especially those from Adler Dorm. Iron must have picked the fight because of that. Lang is a dorm made up of the upper crust, and the cronies over there, they value birth right above all else. The cell. Students will go to extreme lengths to prevent a lesser born from getting into the Bureau of Magic Lance. Feels like the great war for the coins against the Majalupus, who are a group of Lang elites, has begun. Lemon and Rin are a little scared to hear this. Meanwhile, Mash is not taking the whole situation seriously. The guy's pocket begins to glow gold as the 5 coins in his pocket come together to make a single gold coin. Barrett tries to make fun of Mash, but he uses the light to blind him. Mash doesn't see the point in the different dorms and has a flashback to their version of the sorting hat ceremony. In this version, students hold an ancient bone creature that reads the person's magic and mind and assigns them a dorm based on both. Mash was a difficult one, is all he was thinking about was Cream Puff, so the creature put him in Adler. Lance gets back to matters at hand as he explains that the Magia Lupus are 7 distinguished students. Iron was just one of their lackeys. They have been aggressively grabbing coins to sway who the divine visionary will be, and since Mash has a gold coin that makes him prime target, so Lance advises that he keep his distance from Lang and that he should always move with dorm mates whenever possible. Mash throws his advice out the window the following day when he gets lost alone looking for his next class. He comes across a double door and goes through his usual predicament on whether to push or pull to open the door, all the while Iron has been punished by the leader of the Magia Lupus for losing a coin to Adler dorm. The guy refuses his request for one more chance and turns him into a doll that goes and stands next to others who failed them. They are interrupted by Mash, who breaks their door as he wasn't sure on how to open it. He alerts the leader that he is holding and talking to it. Now the triple liner glares at Mash as he thanks him for bringing it to his attention. That brings the episode to an end.